Everybody give it up for a round of applause for Joyce again. And so we've talked about systemic problems. We talk about what is going on in our community, right? But it's very important that we find a solution to be able to address these problems, right? We know what the problems are, but we need to come together and build as a community. We need to come together and create change for ourselves. And the only way that we're going to create change for ourselves is if we are actively testifying and we're going out door knocking for officials. You know, right now there is multiple wards that are open in the city council right now, right? And you may ask, okay, well, so like, what does the city council really do? Well, the city council can deal with a lot of things. Number one, it can deal with the housing problem that we have, okay? You know, out of this global pandemic, we know that black and brown communities have been affected disproportionately by COVID. And then we look at the vaccine distribution, and we also see that the vaccine distribution is also disproportionately sided to one side opposed to the other. And that's why the last couple of weeks, and really last month, we focused on being able to vaccine as many people from our BIPOC community as possible. Okay? So some of you may have heard about it. It was a mass vaccination weekend where anybody could come in and be able to get vaccinated. And that's incredibly important because the work that we're doing in terms of fighting against police brutality, fighting against systemic problems, is saving lives. But also getting vaccines into people's arms is also saving lives. All right? And so one of the main contributors to that effort is Dr. Munoz, who is also running for governor, and I definitely suggest checking him out. So Dr. Munoz, if you could come up and speak, that would be amazing.
Thanks a lot. Hello? Okay.
Yeah, just keep it up.
Keep it up. All right. So thanks so much, Harrison, for giving me the space, and thank you for all the organizers for the work that you put into this. I didn't plan on speaking today. Harrison just said if I wanted to share a few minutes, and I'm grateful for that. You know, it's been a year, and I guess what I'll say, what I'll start by saying is, indifference is not going to pave a path to justice. And the fact is that indifference is pretty pervasive in all of the institutions, whether it's policing or the building right behind us. Over the past 12 months, we've seen that the word progress has become this beautiful thing that everybody wants to latch onto, but yet we don't really see everyone taking action around what that progress might mean. What is programmatic change? What is programmatic progress in our policing system? We have an accreditation process here in the state of Rhode Island that audits police departments based on 200 standards and practices. In other words, how should they be behaving? And yet nationally, the accreditation process that most of our police departments don't adhere to has 460 standards and practices that they're audited on. Now, I'm using that word audited intentionally because audited requires that someone go into these places and investigate, that there be public dollars invested in that investigation. And so why are we limiting our investigations into police practices here in the state of Rhode Island? Why are we not calling for really an answer to the question, is racial justice a practice? Is racial justice a principle that our policing systems even think about, let alone implement practices around? Now that may be a technical discussion, but we have to start talking about what programmatic change is, because someone convinced us at some point in time that justice is reactive, that justice is a reaction to an injustice. Well, I would argue that justice needs to be proactive. We need to tackle the root causes of the violence that we're experiencing, and I use that intentionally too because we are experiencing violence. And at times it may be as a result of environments that we're placed into, and environmental conditions that we're forced under. But oftentimes, like we're talking about today, that violence is put on us. The barriers and the boundaries that we're not supposed to cross are forced on us. And the moment we intend to cross them, the moment we push against them, our efforts are undermined. Whether it's a person with a baton or a politician with a policy. I don't want to take up too much more space today, but I just want to call everyone here to actually take that word progress and to find meaning in it. And my hope is that that meaning will have action and that you'll take it.